Hello and welcome, servants of the God Emperor of mankind, slaves to the Chaos Gods, and foul Xenos alike. We are here for the very first time playing Rogue Trader, Owlcat's brand new, isometric, old-style RPG set in the Warhammer 40k universe. Owlcat, who brought us Pathfinder on PC, who gave us their wonderful retelling of Kingmaker, a adventure path that I ran myself many years ago, and now they bring us Warhammer 40k, a setting that I have loved and participated in since the mid-90s. As a teen, buying models, reading novels, and learning the lore of all the cool, different factions in this horrid but fascinating setting. Our theme for our character is going to be we're going to play an imperial, noble, decadent woman, an officer. Well, we'll just build it as we go. We don't need to talk about it ahead of time. It's not important. We're going to play on daring. I have some experience with the setting, the system, the RPG system that Rogue Trader is based on. While I've never played Rogue Trader, I have extensively read and played some of the other settings in the Warhammer 40k role-playing line. For example, I played a lot of Deathwatch. So I have a basic idea of how the systems work and what they mean when they're showing us the things on the screen. So I think I can start on daring. I have played just through the prologue and nothing else. Everything after that is completely blind. Let's just get started and we can learn this game together. Custom character of course. Next, we're using this amazing noble woman template, but we're changing her hair. While I do like the ostentatious noble haircuts, I think we're going to use something simpler, just like the blowback here. That way we'll be able to see our augments better. Something I would like. We're going to change our face, because there's a really cool face in here. I think it's around this point. There, I picked her right out of the hat. I love this flat face, the flat look. It's that blasé, noble blasé, that disdain for everyone, that stoic selfishness that is sometimes associated with real-life nobility and definitely associated with 40k university nobility. No emotion visible on her face at any time. But then we're going to go down here. We're just going to give the world an indication of how we really feel by picking a nice set of eyebrows. They give us a stern and angry look. The basic idea here is that we have to hide our emotions, because showing our emotions would make us weak. But we have to pluck our eyebrows to show our disdain, because if people don't know we're angry, then they don't react to us in the way we need them to. So we have to make them think we have no emotions, but are also somehow angry at the same time. That is this character, at least the basic version of this character, all lined up. We think we're better than everybody else. Anybody who can prove that they are better than us, we will defer to, only so that we can eventually prove that we are better than them. Anybody who can help us or serve us or has any resources that we can use, we will play nice with until we've used those resources up. We have a hard time developing real relationships with people because we think everyone is scum. Everyone except us and other people on our level are scum, and most of the people on our level are boring and foolish. So the world is made up of scum and fools and us. As for augments, we can't go out into the world without augments. This is the 40k universe. This is the Imperium of mankind. What kind of fool would go out into the world without some augmentation? We're going to take the nice side rig here. I very much like. I wish that we had more aggressive eye. It's one of the one things I don't really like about this this set of augments. We don't have any really aggressive eye implants. Well, that's fine though. I mean, they did a great job. There's no denying that. I just wish we had some really aggressive eye implants. I need a chunk of metal hanging out of my socket to feel like I'm truly experiencing the Imperium of mankind. No, we're going to stay with this and our second augment. We could do the pipes for the second augment. Make it look like it goes all the way around to the top. They just peek out there. I think that's okay. Yeah, I think I like that. That's good. That's her voice. We're going to use the pragmatic female.
This could be an opportunity. Time to reap the spoils of the battle. I have a nose for profit and a taste for adventure. I always keep my options open.
I love this voice acting work. It is very cool. Very happy with it. And now for our character build, we are Voidborn because we want high intelligence and high willpower. We want fortune because this is fun. So we just want that extra chance on a lot of rolls. And we also eventually want to give that chance to other people. Contagious Luck is really cool. When we use a non-damaging ability on an ally, it grants them a reroll, like our reroll. But we'll be using tons of these because of our build. So we want this. Additionally, we're going to take the talent that lets us use Intelligent instead of Fellowship, because obviously we don't like people. Don't make that mistake. We're not out here commanding people through our Fellowship. We're not utterly terrible at it. Don't get the wrong idea. But we're not out here to do that. No. We are out here to lead through our intellect, through our cunning. Right, we're gonna take Illustrious Glory. Commerce is a neat skill. I just like the idea of having it. It lines up with the noble intent of becoming rich and the most powerful woman in the galaxy. But also, I love the fact that we were named a planetary governor as the background blurb. Not a planetary governor. I want to be clear about this. Planets are disgusting balls of mud that nobody should go anywhere near if they have decent bloods. We were the governor of a habitable space station where many people lived, where the upper class were properly segregated from the lower class, where we were up in perfect domes that looked out on the vast void of the stars, and our slaves and servants lived in pits, trying to keep the whole thing from falling apart and everyone dying in space, because that certainly isn't something that we cared at all about. And we're going to take Shadow of Torment. I like the idea that somebody put some fear of the lowlifes into us by capturing us for ransom, but I also like the idea that maybe our problem with carousal, our problem with toxins is also because we might be a little bit inbred, you know, just maybe a tiny bit inbred. We're of course an officer, what else could we be? And for our skills, we're gonna go all intelligence, willpower, and then we're gonna split our final 2 5-point groupings between, not weapon skill. Weapon skill is swords, ballistic skill, and agility. There we go. Our ship name is going to be a ship from an old Pathfinder game I played in, which is Felicitous Wager. That's right. Lucky bet. Felicitous Wager. That is the name of our ship. Move on, and our name is going to be a name from a book that I read a long time ago that I really like. It's one of my favorites, Laurillar. And there we go. That's who we are. I love the beast that makes up the collar of our jacket. What an ostentatious little outfit we have. Those beautiful black gloves. It's very nice. Those boots. Amazing. Just amazing. So let's get in there and get started with this thing. I'm going to try to do readings of the majority of all of the unvoiced text. I'm going to try to give basically character voices to everybody, at least a little bit. You know, I'm not good at that yet, so hopefully we'll get better in time. I'm going to try to keep them as consistent as possible through the recordings, though. And my character, I'm going to just voice as myself, even though she's a woman, because it's just easier that way. I love, by the way, this particular shrine, this particular imperial shrine. The implication of the emperor granting his warrant of trade to the rogue trader is very, very cool. I also particularly like these servo skulls because they have that sort of like the pipes coming off the back. The wires look like the wigs that English judges used to wear. You know, English judges and lawyers. I mean, English judges and lawyers still wear them, I think. But it's quite cool. But nobles wore them too, you know, in the past.
An excellent place for contemplation.
The man who has approached you is gazing down at the depths of the vast temple on one of the lower decks.
One has the best view of the cathedral from here. Mesmerizing, wouldn't you say? An impeccable manifestation of the God Emperor's sublimity.
Frankly, such excess can be tiring at times. I know the Emperor is important, but is he as important as me? That's what you would hear if you could read our thoughts. I mean, most of that we keep on the inside. Frankly, such excess can be tiring at times is really all we can say out loud. The man gives you a sympathetic look.
I believe there are those among us who share that sentiment. But such is our duty, is it not? To overcome base weaknesses and desires, so as to excel in our service to the God Emperor, the master of humanity.
He shakes his head and turns to you.
Allow me to introduce myself. Conrad Voigtveer, Master of Whispers, in the employ of Her Ladyship Rogue Trader Theodora von Valencias, at your service. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with you in person before.
Voigtveer bows his head and focuses attention on you, Duchess Laurillar Eos Veneria Duval of Calaxis. You may call me Your Grace.
My deepest respects to you, Your Grace. A noble of the Imperium. It's been a long time since Providence last brought such eminent guests aboard this vessel.
Voigtveer smiles faintly, but you are not sure if it is directed at you.
I will be frank with you. You may forget your past titles, no matter who gave them to you, or what their origins are. From the moment you and the other candidate were brought aboard this void ship, your fate changed. You now serve Lord Captain Theodora von Valencias, and carry the burden of an heir of this house. Henceforth, you share your dynastic name with Her Ladyship. Bear it with honor.
We know what a Lord Captain is. We know that it is a honorific title and that it applies to men and women equally when they're road traders, so we're not going to ask that question. Why am I aboard this vessel? Why have I been brought here?
So that you may fulfill your blood duty. Whatever obligations you had before, they are henceforth null and void. By order of the Lord Captain, you have been requisitioned to serve the rogue trader, indeed blessed by the God Emperor. Your former position may have been different from conventional service as part of one of the institutions of the Imperium, but from now on, a different fate awaits you. One chosen for you by the Lord Captain. I advise you to come to terms with this reality as quickly as possible.
I think Master of Whispers is pretty clear as a title. He's probably related to spies somehow, so I'm not going to ask him that. I'm just going to judge on my own that I figured him out. Tell me about the one whose ship... Tell me about the one on whose ship I have found myself.
I would rather not discuss the Lord Captain behind her back. Especially not on board her ship. No one knows better than I that whispers are wont to attract particularly close attention.
Voigtveer laughs and shakes his head.
Suffice it to say that Her Ladyship is the bearer of the sacred warrant of trade and a woman of immense power and entitlement. However privileged your position may be, I ask that you do not incur her anger by being disrespectful or obtuse. Lady Theodora despises both qualities.
You say I'm one of the rogue trader's heirs, so there's another candidate? That's normal. I mean, it's normal for nobles to infight. It's also normal for me to win. I'm not in the least bit concerned about there being another candidate. They don't stand a chance. They don't stand a chance. They've never gone up against me before. I assume you had some goal in mind when you decided to seek me out? Let us address it.
But of course, I have come to invite you to a meeting with Lady Theodora. I imagine you have many questions for your patroness, and I'm sure she has just as many questions for you. It is regrettable that you haven't yet had an opportunity to speak. It has been an arduous voyage thus far. The Lord Captain and Master Edelthrad von Valencius are conversing on the observation platform. Let us join them there.
Alright, that guy, I don't like him. I don't like him because he puts on airs, and the only person allowed to put on airs is me. Because my airs are real, and his airs are obviously just assumed. Nice table. A massive conference table obviously crafted from real wood, a resource of incredible value aboard a void ship. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I imagine that I've seen wood before, though. Right?
Let us not dawdle.
We probably had well-cleaned, preserved, and prepared wood in all of the fancy chambers of the governor's office on the Void Station.
One of the von Valencius trophy rooms. Perhaps you would like to take a look around after your audience with the Lord Captain.
We have a las cannon turret and a Lehman Russ. I think that was with multi-meltas.
What's happening?
It looks like the servitors are malfunctioning. That's what's happening.
The servitors have gone berserk!
Yeah, he's got it. Look at these brave men doing their duty, standing up to these things. That is Imperial service at its best. I'm particularly impressed by how willing they are to die for their betters.
No mercy to those who oppose von Valencius.
Touching the edge of the screen there. They actually succeeded at killing one of the foes. You know, if they hadn't done such a good battle, there would be two things that we would have to fight. Well, I would have to encourage them to fight. Usually the scum just run. This scum didn't run. That makes them exceptionally good scum, in my opinion. Oh. You need to do a better job. You need to do a better job, okay? I'm gonna tell this guy that he serves me, and then I'm going to give him a little bit of boost to his statistics, and we're gonna then try to get some cover over here.
Let's make some opportunities.
Hopefully we don't shoot him on the way past with our bullet. If we do, not my problem. No, instead we miss. Wonderful. Good shot. Oh, these guys got it. Oh, of course he goes after the one that I put my buff on. Of course he does. You gonna do anything, Conrad, other than point at these guys? Is that it for you?
I'll see to it personally.
Apparently I will, even though that's really not what I'm good at. I scarcely believe it. On a day like this...
What suspiciously poor timing for such an accident. Servitors malfunction on the officer's deck at exactly the same moment when the rogue trader and her heirs are gathered here.
Without taking his eyes off the bodies on the floor, Voitvir removes the Voxcaster from his belt and speaks a few quick orders into the device.
I have blocked all passages between the upper and lower sectors of the residential decks. If this is a deliberate attack, it should stop the culprits from advancing their plan.
I think this Conrad guy is even less engaged than me. What's that, Voidsman defending the ship after we've already won the fight? Typical. Spread out. No one is allowed to enter the premises. Stations. The lines on Voitvir's forehead soften and his voice regains its usual courtesy.
I'm afraid I must remain here. For Lady Theodora's safety, I have to oversee the execution of these orders personally. I hope you will have no difficulty reaching the observation platform on your own. It is just at the end of this corridor.
The Master of Whispers gives you a curt bow. Alright, let's find our way to this meeting. Oh, that feels...
I always keep my options open.
like an appropriate number of casualties, to be fair. And of course, these regular ship's crew here, these mid-deck crewmen, seem to have done a better job of defending the ship than the Voidsmen, whose literal job it is. Typical, really, for the Imperial military, to be honest.
Is there money to be made?
At least in my vaunted opinion. This situation really had better be worth the bother, because I'm getting a little flustered. And here we are at the meeting. That's simply irrational, Lady Theodora. says the man dressed in peculiar garb, his voice tight with tension. His face, half of which is covered by synth skin, is twisted in a grimace of displeasure and disbelief. Assimilation into the trade structure would be political and economic suicide, practically an admission of heresy. The tall, gray-haired woman pins him with her gaze, cybernetic eye flashing crimson, then suggests an alternative that will satisfy me. I have described the situation no worse than my seneschal could have done. Make a decision. What will you do with Aeon 6? Ethelthrad? Your first impression of Ethelthrad, who appears to be about 30 years old, is a parchment-like skin stretched over a tightly bundled mass of sinew, implants, and bone. The nervously twitching fingers, the face twisted by a slight tic, the jerky movements are all signs of some illness or defect that has taken over his physical form. In stark contrast to Ethelthrad, Theodora von Valentius' features appear as if they were carved from marble, eternal and indestructible. Her head raised high, proud posture, hands clasped casually behind her back, everything seems to emphasize the difference in status between her and Ethelthrad. Ah, now that is a woman one could look up to. That is an inspiring commander. Behind the two of them, you see two more men. One is a gray-haired officer of impeccable bearing who is studying the contents of his data slate. The other is a behemoth bristling with holsters and baldricks, containing all manner of weapons. Our second candidate has joined us. The dry female voice and powerful feeling of being watched force you to look at Theodora. The rogue trader is looking straight at you, and her gaze, like herself, is predatory and oppressive. Laurillar, approach and give me your answer. Consider this hypothetical situation. Aeon 6. A new world on the fringes of the Chronos Advance. High seismic activity, regular magma eruptions, metamorphic rock deposits, prospects for large-scale mining. The world is populated by natives who worship some heretical underworld spirits that protect those who offer them sacrifices. Flights of fancy, you might say, but attempts to install ore extractors have failed for the second time. The mining crews sent to the planet's surface simply vanished overnight. My question to you is, what would you do with this poisoned treasure? Having lots of warp knowledge can be a bad thing to admit early on in a new relationship in the Imperium, because it might get you branded as a heretic, but knowing about the foul Xenos is a slight bit more acceptable, and I also like that answer better. Those spirits could well be the natives' name for dangerous aliens. I would first verify if that is indeed the case, and if the population of Aeon 6 engages in Xeno worship. Theodora arches an eyebrow. Reasonable and prudent. However, chasing after ethereal creatures may prove a rather long and fruitless endeavor. Ethelthrad scoffs. Apart from Xenos, an untrodden planet might be teeming with myriad horrors that are far more dangerous and difficult to eradicate. I suspect that you, Laurillar, are simply unaware of their existence. I gave a straight answer to a simple question, which, as I understand it, was still more than you could do, Ethelthrad. The color drains from Ethelthrad's face, which distorts his features further. Insolent, upstart, ignorant. How dare you? Ethelthrad, Theodora's tone renders him silent. I believe I gave you an assignment on this ship. Explain to me, then, why my senior congregator is still dawdling about the officer's deck, instead of proceeding to the middle deck to commence the inspection of the compartments in his purview. I beg your forgiveness, Lady Theodora. Your presence has such a profound effect on me that I well forgot the time. Ethelthrad bows ceremoniously and takes his leave without sparing you another look. That guy doesn't know his place. And he certainly doesn't appreciate mine. That guy, I don't like that guy. I don't like the other guy either. Both of those two guys I hate. Conrad probably less than Ethelthrad, because Conrad is a servant and Ethelthrad is a competitor. Theodora's gaze follows him as he leaves, then she turns to you. So, Laurillar, why are you here? Because you asked me here, but I'm not going to answer that, because obviously that's what you want me to say, because you want me to prove the fool. So, I'm just going to simply say, there are questions that I wish to have answered. You are direct. I approve. But you will have to wait. There is something I want you to understand first. My name is Theodora von Valentius Massissimo af Scaras. I am a rogue trader in the service of the God Emperor of humanity, and my rights and freedoms are vindicated by a most sacred relic, the warrant of trade, kept aboard this very vessel. Mine is the honor to venture into the darkness beyond the Imperium and carry humanity's light where powers wicked and heretical reign, and bow death and ruin to us all. It is my decision alone to determine the fate of whatever I find past the bounds of the explored void. Every world I discover, along with all there is to find thereon, resources, people, riches, and mysteries, is mine by right. I command millions of lives, rule over numerous planets, and possess fortunes that no planetary governor or commander could dream of amassing. And you, Laurillar, are one of those with the von Valentius blood in their veins and a rightful claim to this inheritance when the hour comes. I am ready to take on this sacred position. Oh yes, you would be, wouldn't you? The question is, am I ready to choose you over the rest? You came aboard hours before the warp jump, and have not yet distinguished yourself in any way. As things currently stand, I have doubts that you are suitable for the role of rogue trader. Blood right alone is not enough to earn the high honor of becoming the bearer of a warrant of trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may prove useful, if not for the role of Lord Captain, then for that of their closest ally. Theodora sighs and looks away pensively for a brief moment. Alas, even those responsibilities can at times be too challenging for those who share your blood. Konrad Voitvert served me for many years before he made his mistake. Alright, well, that lets me understand what our position is. She thinks I'm an upstart, and I think she's someone that's worth serving until I can take her things. Relationship established. Thank you for clarifying. May I ask my questions now? The Vox affixed to Theodora's attire suddenly comes to life, but all you can hear is unintelligible noise. Theodora winces, shuts off the transmission, and gives you an imperious nod. I have some time before the navigator gives the signal to initiate the void ship translation out of the warp, and my presence is required on the bridge. I know what a navigator is. They are a special kind of mutant that's accepted because they can guide people through the warp. Translation is going in and out of the warp. It's how ships travel fast. These are things that most people in the Imperium would have no idea about, but a high-ranking noble who used to be a planetary governor absolutely would. An incident took... Yes, we're gonna inform her about the incident. An incident took place on the officer's deck. Some servitors went berserk and attacked the crew. Is that so? Perhaps the technomats were careless during maintenance, or it could be the warp playing tricks on us in spite of the Geller field. Or perhaps there is something to all the stories about the ship being possessed after all. Theodora laughs nonchalantly. The gray-haired officer gives the rogue trader a look of cautious disapproval. Lady Theodora, for the God Emperor's sake, surely you do not intend to start repeating idle rumors spread around by the uneducated riffraff? Enough, Abelard. Such heresy amuses me. Idira eagerly retells me everything she learns from the whispers of her unseen advisors. She turns to you. This ship is thousands of years old. It has enough hidden nooks, malfunctioning cogitators, and unused compartments to make ignorant folk speak of specters dwelling inside the bulkheads and plotting against those who yet live. Where is the ship headed? The Rykard system, the domain of rogue trader Winterscale, one of my peers and rivals. Only 3 rogue traders exist in the Chronos Expanse, and each of them possesses resources comparable to mine. Perhaps you will one day assist House von Valentius in surpassing both of them in affluence and splendor. I set the course for Rykard on the demand. Theodora grimaces. She gives you a stern look, then shrugs. For a very specific reason, perhaps I shall appraise you of the purpose of this voyage. But now is not the time. What are my current responsibilities then? Observe, learn, absorb. It will take time for you to find your bearings aboard this vessel and in your new position. Eventually I will find a post that suits you as I did for Elfrad. Until that time comes, consider yourself my aide. Alright. I have no more questions. In that case, I shall head to Theodora's Vox awakens once more. This time you pick up shouting. The Lord Captain freezes, listening to the Voxcast, then nods and draws her weapon. Disturbances reported on the adjacent decks, Seneschal. If the need arises, protect the new blood. She glances at you. It is possible that the chance to prove your worth may prove itself sooner than you may have anticipated. Alright. Let's see if these guards can actually stand a chance. These trained guards compared... Nope, he's dead. These guys look like either deck crew or cultists, which are more or less the same thing. You know? Deck crews on these ships are...
I'll make an example out of you!
Very oftentimes heretical. Okay, let's see. Guess we just start this one. Lady Theodora moves back. That's pretty good. Abelard.
Reduced to dust.
Up here killing. What a man. Mort also having a good time over here. Slaying with what looks like a multi-melta. So these guys
Brace yourself.
don't
Abelard.
seem that dangerous. That probably would have hurt. I think we're gonna take cover here. I'm gonna do my
I won't
usurp.
compromise my principles.
Can't do it. Okay, we will put
I
our...
refuse.
Okay, apparently we can't do any of that. That's fine, I guess. Should we just go out in the open then? I mean... yeah, that's probably better.
Who, if not me?
Then we'll use our little...
I won't stand for it.
Can't do it. We'll shoot this guy then.
Another enemy down.
There we go. Don't know if these guys are gonna even really shoot at us back here. Oh yeah, they definitely like killing us. Abelard is getting some pretty heavy heat back here himself, though. Of course, he's the melee character, so he's probably got this. Lady Theodora. Ooh, nice plasma pistol. I would love to have a plasma pistol in this game.
One fewer target.
I love a good plasma pistol, plasma sword,
Pain and
officer.
beauty go hand in hand.
Oh, that feels like it could easily have hit him, but that's okay. It's not up to me, right? I'm not here to judge whether or not Mort is making good decisions about where he places his Melta energy. It's not a multi-Melta he has, it's a Melta.
It's as good as
Just
done.
take the shot. That's fine. Oh, plasma. All done. That was actually pretty quick. We got that one right out, right away. These guys are strong, I would say. Not insanely strong, though. Theodora waves her hand in a commanding gesture. Mort, take a team with you and clear a path to the transport line. Do not let a single Whoreson survive. The rogue trader turns her eyes on you. Didn't bat an eye when the scum burst onto the deck. Not bad. I have seen many an officer who panicked at the sight of combat on the upper decks. The false sense of security offered by their position makes them that much more vulnerable to the harsh realities of warp travel. She looks at the Vox in her hand. All you can hear is lifeless static. The incident with the rampaging servitor may be connected to what's transpiring now. Possibly, quite likely. Theodora winces and flicks the switch on her Vox a few times. We will investigate at a later time. Right now we need to isolate the affected compartments and try to assess the situation. What are your orders? She breaks eye contact with you. Mort has gone ahead to clear a path for us. If you want to make yourself useful, go after him and see if the arch-militant requires aid. And be quick about it. Alright. I am still comfortable with taking orders with from this woman. She seems competent. I mean, competent is another word for competition. That's why they rhyme. Pretty sure that Gothic has them rhyme just because that's the philosophy of it. Competent and competition being the same. Okay.
Rise to the top, or get left
There he
in
is.
the dust.
There he is. This is just some regular guy. This is Mort up here with his Melta-gun. Melta is a nice weapon. Understand why he prefers it. I like a good Melta. I like a good incineration, you know, and Conrad's come back. Conrad Voigtveer lets out a sigh of relief upon seeing you. Thank Providence you are alive and well. Always on time, eh, Conrad? The moment we finish chasing the riffraff around the deck, you show up. Always just after the fighting's done. You could set your chrono by it. Conrad pointedly looks away from the arch-militant to you. Mort, pull yourself together. The arch-militant looks back at you. What? Did the Lord Captain send you to chivvy us along? We're all done here. I'll report right away. Mort pulls his Vox from the belt and hurriedly reports the situation. Yes, following right in my wake. Brave woman. Master of Whispers, what is happening on my ship? The Voxnet is silent. The Voxmaster is not responding. Armed assailants have stormed the officer's deck, and my arch-militant just destroyed several more heretics on the way here. Is it a severe case of warp madness? Have some of my crew members lost their minds and forgotten who they are and whom they serve? Report. I have not yet received word from the Enginarium regarding any Gellerfield failures, but communications were already unstable half an hour ago, and now they have ceased altogether. Whatever the cause may be, the consequences are spreading fast. I am receiving scattered reports from the middle decks, and the only Voss casts from the lower bays are one-way heretical gibberish. Voigtveer pauses. That the madmen have already reached the officer's deck suggests that this outrage was planned in advance. Perhaps this is an organized mutiny. I mean, the warp drives people mad. Mutinies are not that uncommon in the warp. A mutiny against the Emperor's... Oh, yes, calling for executions. That's right up my style. A mutiny against the Emperor's anointed. Execute the traitors. Every last one of them. I want to see blood. I want to see heads roll. First, we have to confirm that the bridge and the navigator's sanctum are secure, and I have the means to do both things at once. Her expression changes as her eyes flash ominously. Theodora looks at Voigtveer. Edelthrad, where is he? I must know if he is unharmed. A psyker aboard a ship that is potentially being assailed by the warp. Oh, he's a psyker. That's why he seemed ill. He is a slightly unstable psyker. Ah, yeah, that's great. That's exactly what we need right now. could pose a greater threat to himself and others than a whole army of madmen with improvised weapons. Whoa, whoa, whoa. He's not just an idiot, he's also a psyker. Huh. Great. I tried to locate him, but the last thing known about his movements is that he arrived on Transitional Deck 18. Lastit. Master of Whispers, find Ethelthrad immediately. Seneschal, locate Talas and the Sister of Battle. Both are to remain at my side. Arch-militant with me. I must go to my study, and it appears that we might encounter heretics along the way. Laurillar? Theodora glances at you thoughtfully. If I may, Lord Captain. Voigtvir's voice is soft and cautious. Transitional Deck 18 is at the heart of the disturbance, and if our goal is to bring Ethelthred back, I could use some support. After all, I'm not as adept at directly confronting enemies of the house as the esteemed Arch-Militant. And taking into consideration Ethelthrad's psyker powers... I'm gonna have to go with him to face the psyker. Wonderful. It's not the best thing. Yeah, psyker in the warp. He's probably gonna turn into something awful. It's awful. Yeah. Then it's settled, Laurillar. Find Ethelthrad and bring him here, in whatever state you find him. This elevator, she points to the massive doors, leads to restricted compartments such as my personal chambers and the bridge. Do not let me down. I require you both. Do you understand? I understand. I understand that you're full aware of the fact that I will murder him at the first opportunity, and that we both know that I have to lie to you about it. I understand perfectly. I hear and obey, Lord Captain. Theodora waves a hand impatiently, because she doesn't believe me. Then move out. Mort, come. Okay, so my rival is a psyker and probably going to turn into a mutant and try to kill me, and this idiot spy master is a coward. Alright, he's a coward and a traitor. Those are the things I've gathered. Voigtvir gives you a nod. Are you ready to head to 18? It's a long walk and you don't even have proper gear. You had better not fail me. The Lord Captain made it clear that relying on you is fraught with risk. He pales at your words, but you cannot tell if it's because of shame or fury. I see you have quickly earned Lady Theodora's trust, if she's already sharing her closely guarded secrets with you, but that is no longer relevant. With a pop and a sharp cackle, something hits you in the abdomen, and you are consumed by unbearable, gut-wrenching pain. Ah, there it is. Straight out, good old-fashioned betrayal. I mean, it was kind of hinting the whole time that he might just be doing the thing. He had a little bit too much information on how mutinies work and what to do to stop them. With that epic betrayal, though, I think we're going to bring our first episode to an end. I hope that you join me the next time we are here with the egotistical and conceited noblewoman of the Imperium, Laurillar, now Von Valencius. Goodbye, and I hope to see you next time.